If this is such a good dupe for this, why am I not more excited? In this video, I am doing a 3-day wear test of the L'Oreal True Match Nude Serum Foundation. And I even do one day where it goes head to head with the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet Foundation, the discontinued foundation that's been a holy grail of mine, and Angie Hot and Flashies. I'm an aerospace engineer and I have an MBA, and so I am really picky about how I test my foundations. I believe in tracking everything, trying to only change one variable at a time. So if that's the kind of foundation you're interested in, you're in the right place. The L'Oreal True Match Nude Foundation is 1% hyaluronic acid. It comes in 14 shades. I am in the shade 3-4 light medium. It gives sheer coverage, and they recommend applying it with your fingers. I found it on their website, Amazon, and Target for $14.99 and at Ulta for $19.99. L'Oreal is offering a money-back guarantee on this foundation up to $14.99. Let's get into the testing. This is day one with this foundation, so no primer as per usual. Although I will say that this Bare Minerals foundation, its third ingredient is dimethicone, so maybe this is a little bit of a cheat because that almost makes it a primer. You can see that this is a very, very runny foundation. With 1% hyaluronic acid. That's not surprising. I'm using my fingers. I appreciate it when I can apply a foundation with my fingers, and this one seems to be going on just fine. With one coat of that with fingers, it does give sheer coverage. I'm going to see if I can build that up a little bit. I do prefer a little more coverage than that. And here's what another layer of that foundation looks like. This is an 8-hour check-in, and I really haven't done terribly much today. I am shooting this on the Sunday of Memorial Day, and it has literally been pouring here most of the day. It is so flipping cold. It's like 55 degrees, but with all the moisture, and I keep looking that way because that way is outside. It's just awful. It's cold. I cranked up the furnace because I'm freezing. I was out for a few hours today where I needed to wear a mask, so there's that. I am kind of really impressed with this so far. This morning when I was putting it on, this is definitely light coverage, maybe light to medium, not quite medium. And I really didn't have very high hopes for it this morning, but looking at it throughout the day and now even in the dreaded 10X, the 10X of truth, wow, it still looks really good. It is it definitely lets the imperfections in my skin show through, but it does even out my tone. And as you can see in the close-up, it has settled a little teeny tiny bit into one of the deep wrinkles, but not bad. So today was no primer, and I set it with the Bare Minerals. I used the Rimmel Stay Matte for a finishing powder, and I used the ColourPop Pretty Fresh for setting spray today. Day 2, I am using the Milk Hydro Grip Hydrating Primer. And I am surprised at how much I like this primer because it's supposed to have a radiant finish, which if you've watched me for any length of time, you know I do not like a radiant finish. But it gives my skin nice moisture and it does seem to grip the foundation. I'm going to use a brush today in hopes that I can build up more coverage. And I am making sure to shake the foundation well. With all that hyaluronic acid in there, you really do need to shake it. First, I'm dabbing it on my face with my fingers. And now I'm using my IT Cosmetics brushes for Ulta, the Airbrush 101. This is my favorite foundation brush. And checking in the mirror, it is going on very nicely with the brush. Not a huge surprise. I'm doing a second application. This is building nicely using the brush. And for both setting and finishing, I used the Wayne Goss Weightless Powder. And for setting spray, I used the original MAC Prep and Prime. It is wearing fantastic. We are super close to 9 hours in this, and it really hasn't even settled into this line. I think that speaks volumes for the primer and how the primer works with this foundation. I was a little skeptical. You know, this morning I did 2 passes with it, and I really buffed it in with the brush, and I was very pleased when I got back to my bathroom to see, oh my gosh, I really did get medium coverage out of this foundation. Now I've got a little zit on my cheek over here and another little one down here. I don't think it's from this foundation. I've also been doing sunscreen testing. I think it's from that. But, you know, so it didn't, you know, completely cover over those. I wouldn't expect it to. And it's worn so nicely. I'm really pleasantly surprised at the performance of this foundation. I will be really honest and say my expectations were pretty low. And, you know, Angie has said that it's a dupe for her Holy Grail, which was my Holy Grail, which is the Chanel Velvet Lumiere that's been discontinued now for a couple of years. So, yeah, maybe. I am starting today with the NYX Hydro Touch Primer. And the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet is going to go head to head with the L'Oreal True Match Serum. I'll be using a damp beauty blender for application today. The L'Oreal is going on my right. The beauty blender is giving it really, really sheer coverage. So I'm going over it with my fingers. And here is the Chanel foundation. You can see it's, relatively speaking, quite a bit thicker. It is still a very runny foundation though. And it applies like an absolute dream with fingers. It literally, to me, feels like liquid silk. I love this foundation and I am so mad that they discontinued it. The L'Oreal is a little more luminous, but I have a feeling powder will even them out. The sun has finally come out in Seattle, so here is this foundation under natural light. The L'Oreal side and the Chanel side. Here is this foundation under natural light. I realize I probably should have shot this one of the first 2 days, but this side is the L'Oreal side. This side is the Chanel side. And I think they, I think they're reading pretty comparable here under strictly artificial light. And here's what it looks like under flash photography. I did the L'Oreal on this half and the Chanel on this half. And I will say, I'm not really noticing much of a difference. The coverage today was definitely lighter. I did set my foundation today with the Bakery Beauty Flower. and used the Rimmel Stay Matte for finishing powder and topped it all off with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. As far as these two being a dupe for each other, performance-wise and look-wise, yeah, it's really close. But I will say, just from an experience point of view, and honestly, isn't that the reason that we spend big bucks on some cosmetics when we clearly don't have to, is the experience? When I put the Chanel foundation on with my fingers, it feels expensive. It feels like liquid silk. It has this je ne sais quoi, there's my 1 year of high school French, that just feels so sublime going on, that I do not get from the L'Oreal product. But looks, performance, yeah, close enough. Let's talk final thoughts on this L'Oreal foundation. On the one hand, I have been reaching for it every single day, even when I haven't been shooting. So that says something about it. It's a super easy foundation. It really doesn't care. Primer, no primer. Fingers, brush. I wasn't in love, clearly, with the Beauty Blender application, but you know, if you just want sheer coverage and you like that boost of skincare from this, that's not a bad way to go. Clearly, it does not evoke the same kind of response in me that the Chanel does. But I think even more than it not having that same luxurious feel, what drives me nuts about this foundation is it is sloppy. The dropper is a horrible applicator, right? And it's just messy. It gets all around the outside of the bottle. I apply it to the back of my hand and then to my face, and I'm always wiping it off because it's dripping everywhere. It is just a really inelegant package. They could have put a pump on here and that would have made all the difference. But I can see this being one I keep reaching for during the summertime. And I will say, because I did do some self-tanner, so when I first was shooting this, it was my winter coloring, and now it's with a little self-tan action going on. And this shade really, I feel like, covered me through that range. So on the one hand, 14 shades is not a lot, but on the other hand, because it is so sheer, it's a lot more forgiving in terms of getting a really close match because it lets your skin shine through. Do you swap out foundations summer and winter? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. If you liked this video, you're also going to enjoy this one on the Il Maquillage foundation. It's another foundation I really liked. It'll be linked here in just a moment on the screen, along with my playlist for all of my foundation reviews.